Krishna Avatara was considered as a complete avatara or a complete incarnation of God. The consciousness that we refer to as Krishna, if we have to be touched by this, we need Leela. Leela does not mean just dancing with somebody. You're willing to dance with death, you're willing to dance with life. Very few human beings ever get to be placed in as complex situations as Krishna was placed. One human being's life going through the variety of situations that he went through is generally, it doesn't happen to most human beings. And in all these situations that he was faced with, the clarity of vision that he exhibited and the certainty about his ability to discern as to what is true and what is not true, the clarity that he brought to people around, people began to experiencing like godlike. So he was proclaimed as an incarnation and a complete incarnation. For those of you who are not familiar with this, they talk about 9 incarnations. I want you to understand this is… what I'm going to say now is much before Charles Darwin came. So the first incarnation was Matsyavatara, that means God appeared in the form of a fish. And you know, Charles Darwin went about proving the first form of life on the planet were water life, fish. And the next incarnation is Kurmavatara, that means it's a turtle, it's an amphibious animal, half water, half land. Charles Darwin said this also. The third incarnation is Varahavatara, which is in the form of a pig, a gross mammal. And the fourth incarnation is Narasimhavatara, that is half man and half animal. The next one is Vamanavatara, a dwarf, human form but a dwarf. The next one is Parashurama, a full-grown man, but an extremely violent man, a great fighter. We will meet him shortly here also. Krishna meets him, so he's still alive. So Parashurama is a fighting man. He even lopped off the head of his own mother, a very violent man. The next one is Ramavatara, a very peaceful one, but very unidimensional kind of man. The next is Krishnavatara, a very multi-dimensional human being. So Krishnavatara was considered as a complete avatara or a complete incarnation of God, not just one aspect. As a tribute to the multi-dimensional nature of who he was. And though he himself never claimed it, even if he had not claimed it, people around him naturally identified him as divine. In this identification that people attached to him, the whole culture evolved around this identity of Krishna being a complete incarnation of the divine. When we say Krishna, the essence of who he is He is an irrepressible child, a terrible prankster, an enchanting flute player, a graceful dancer, an irresistible lover, a truly valiant warrior, a ruthless vanquisher of his foes, a man who left a broken heart in every home, an astute statesman and kingmaker, a thorough gentleman, a yogi of the highest order, and the most colorful incarnation. Krishna is seen and perceived and understood and experienced in many, many different ways by different people. Duryodhana, through the eyes of Duryodhana. For those of you who do not know the background, I will be, because unless you understand the whole tapestry of the story and the situation in which he existed, many aspects of who he is will be missed, so we will go into it. But right now, Duryodhana is a man because of certain situations into which he was placed, insecure, angry, jealous, greedy and feeling wronged all his life. And because of actions which came forth from his greed and anger, he became the key for destruction of his whole race. In Duryodhana's words, he is a smiling rogue, if there was ever one. He can eat, he can drink, he can sing, he can dance, he can make love, he can fight, he can gossip with old women, play with little children. Who says he is God? That's Duryodhana's perception. Shakuni, the very embodiment of deception and cunning. Shakuni says, let us suppose he is God. So what? What can a God do? God can only please those devotees who please him. Let him be God. I don't like him. And when you don't like somebody, you must praise them. That's deceit. Radhe, his childhood lover, a milkmaid, simple woman of the village. But with such unfaltering love and devotion, she has become so big that today you cannot talk of Krishna without Radhe. We don't say Krishna Radhe, we say Radhe Krishna. She has become a simple village woman. She has become as significant as Krishna or little more significant than him. She said, Krishna is with me. He is always with me. Wherever he is, whoever he is with, he's still with me. It's her perception. Vainteya, a youth who was the Garuda chief's eldest son, living on the mountains of Gomantak. A sprightly youth, because of a certain ailment, became totally crippled. This crippled youth, after he met Krishna, Krishna made him walk. So Vainteya said, He's God, he's God, he's God. Akrura, an uncle of Krishna, a wise and saintly being, expressed his perception of Krishna this way. Krishna, when I look at him, this strange young boy, I see the sun, the moon and the 7 stars whirling around him. When he speaks, he sounds like the voice of the eternal. He's the hope. If there is hope in this world, he's the hope. Secondin, a tortured human being, because of a certain situation within himself, right from his child. This is an absolutely tortured soul. So Shikandin said, Krishna never gave me any hope, but when he is there, the breeze of hope touches everybody. I can go on like this. Different people saw different facets of who he is. For some, he's God. For some, he's a crook. For some, he's a lover. For some, he's a fighter. So many things he is. If we want to taste an essence of what it means when we say Krishna, the consciousness that we refer to as Krishna, if we have to be touched by this, we need Leela. Here we are for the Leela. Leela means it is the path of the playful. This is not for the serious times, are you? Because when I say playfulness, we are not here just to play. We are here to explore the most profound and the most serious aspect of life, playfully, conducted playfully. Otherwise Krishna won't be there. The reason why the most profound dimensions of life have been missed by the vast population in the world is because they do not know how to be playful. If you want to explore this path playfully, if you want to be playful, you need a heart full of love, a joyful mind, a vibrant body, otherwise there's no Leela. If one has to explore the most profound dimensions of life in a playful way, they must be willing to play with their awareness, with their imagination, with their memory, with their life, with their death. They're willing to play with everything, only then Leela. Leela does not mean just dancing with somebody. You're willing to dance with death, you're willing to dance with life, you're willing to dance with your enemy, you're willing to dance with the one whom you love. You're willing to dance the last moment of your death. Only then there is Leela.
So, the power of inclusiveness. Now, if we go back in the world, say 30 years, we see that there were many signs of opening. Walls were coming down. Many initiatives were taken to open up the world, which I think brought many benefits. If we look around the world now, there are many signs of closure. Walls are being constructed. There are many policy measures being taken by many governments, closing borders, closing borders to persons, closing borders to goods. I wonder if I may ask how you see all this.
See, yes, it's true, you're seeing that as a global situation. But we need to understand this, bringing down walls without bringing down economic disparity is not going to work. When we brought down walls, then itself we should have understood that we must strive to bring down disparity in the world. No man or woman wants to leave their home and go somewhere else to some strange land and live there just for survival. Nobody wants to do that. But it is estimated that in the next decade, there could be about 1.7 to 1.8 billion people moving or migrating. When that many people start migrating, your wall is not going to work anyway. Wall will work when they're in a few thousands, maybe a million, but when they go to a billion, your wall is not going to work, it's going to be a tragedy, because now you see a stream of people coming. Well, can every nation just open up its borders and say, welcome, live on the streets? Not possible, yes? So the thing to do is, which I've been striving to do and I've failed to do, is in the last 25 years I've been trying to bring some key people in the world together so that this initially we started as 1%.com, and I try to create a board, and every time we are about to do it, some warlike situation comes and some nations back away and it never happened, all right? The idea was just this, 1% of what we invest in our defense forces, as we call them, arms and armaments, what we invest, if we contribute and we institute a board of people who are from responsible businesses to be given as soft loans to these businesses to start enterprises in impoverished societies where it's not profitable to do business. A business will naturally try to do business where it's most profitable. You cannot ask them to go and do business somewhere in one corner of Asia or Africa because they are looking at their profitability. Essentially, this attitude is because money is expensive. The money is expensive. If you give them a softer money, which is not expensive, for a gestation period of 12 to 20 years and very soft kind of cushion for them to develop an enterprise, develop the talent and create industry and business in impoverished societies, the reason for these people to migrate will go. Instead of making that investment, you invest in putting up walls, you will see walls will work to a certain point. I'm not even saying it's wrong, because the sovereignty of a nation is essentially determined by the geographic borders. I'm not saying every nation can open up and let people inside, it's not possible to do that. But you will not be able to control it this way, nor is it very humane to do it that way. So the only way is, in some way we must see how economic disparity is lowered. We cannot level it absolutely, it's very, very far away, leveling it. But if we strive in the next 10 years, if there's enough investments going into various parts of the world from where people are migrating, if you start businesses there, if you start enterprises there, if you start economic activity there, then the need for them to go elsewhere to make a living could be reduced and migrations could be controlled, because nobody wants to leave their homeland if they can make a living there.